Hi everyone. Hi everyone. Good evening. Hi everyone. Good evening. So yeah, how is everyone doing? Good. How is everyone doing? Good. So it's a backend batch, right? What I know, correct? It's a backend batch, right? That started this year only, right? Okay. So you are having first class with me. You're having first class with me. Well, the initial classes with me, or you have. Okay. So you're done with Node.js, right? Well, you are already good with Node.js, correct? Right. Okay. So yeah, I hope you will have a good time with me. Okay, for me, I can tell you what I've been aligned for. I have been aligned with you guys for the next uh, more than 10 classes. So initially, I think you have first next 3 to 4 classes. You have some interview preparation. I think some small projects, right? I think then we are going to big one big project, that is I think the movie booking. Correct? Let me check it again. What I have been aligned with. So what I know is on 11, 13, 14, 16, next 4 classes, it will be this re-level practice 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then from 19th of, or sorry, from 18th of January, I will be starting with movie booking application. That will take some amount of classes. So you are also on the same page. Malab, are you aligned? You are also aware of the same? Bolo. Are you guys also on the same page? Bolo. Okay. So yeah, okay. I think I can see around 9 classes there in movie booking application. Okay, 9 classes in movie booking application. We'll try to cover maximum of them in January month only. There will be some spillover to February, but yeah, we'll try to cover all the initial 4 classes for D-level round practice and the movie booking application. Okay, both of them will be taken by me. Okay. So yeah, I expect. Uh, okay. So what I about me, let me quickly give you an introduction. Okay. Then we'll start with our first day of things. Okay. Um, so what is the ask today? So about okay, first about me. So I have been with teaching with re-level with around close to an 9 to 10 months now. It's been close to a year. I have been with re-level. I have taken multiple batches. I have been mostly I've been into full stack batches, but yeah, now recently from a couple of months I was taking few front end batch. I have taken movie booking for the front end batch recently. Taken now I'm just starting with you guys. That is movie booking for the back end batch. Okay. Oh, sorry. After that, okay, yeah. Basically, I will continue after this. Today we'll be having a re-level round 3 and 4 practice session. Okay. So apart from this, I have been into this teaching and all from last 3 years now. Okay. So I have been associated with almost all or many of the good Indian edtech companies. Mhm. So I have good experience around Munchstack, DSA, system design. Okay. So apart from this, in my full-time job, I have been working currently with close to around 1 year, 4 months with 1 year, 3 months with Amazon. Before this, I used to work for a company called as Saber Corporations that was into travel sector. Okay. So yeah, that is a short introduction about me. I hope if still anyone wants to know me more, you can ask me any doubts you have. Okay. And still, if you want to understand, yes, Ankit, I am working from home. Okay. So this is my LinkedIn. Still, if you want to connect with me, you can connect. Okay. Yeah, I just send it. Okay. That is fine. Okay. Ignore my photo for this DP. I just changed it yesterday only. Just for fun. Okay. That is fine. Ignore it. ठीक है चलो. So about today, let me quickly let you know about today. What are we planning today? Hmm. So let me quickly upload the slide as well. Okay. So you are aware. Okay. So I hope you are aware of these, whatever you did right till now. Okay, or you are clear with this. So today we'll try to create some kind of hiring portal. Okay, let me quickly share my screen. Okay. So ठीक है. ठीक है. I hope. Okay, can you guys see my screen? No. Sir, please. Okay, let me. Rupesh is asking. Okay, let me. Yeah, go ahead, Rupesh. Yeah, Rupesh, go ahead.
Hi, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yes, good evening. So, sir, as you said that you have been working with Amazon and other big tech companies. So, like, even I'm working as a IT professional, as a web developer with a service-based company. So, sir, till now in your journey, what challenges did you face? Like, as you said, you very well know DSA and system design problems. So, where exactly is that where you face difficulty till now in your journey?
Till now, so let me unmute you first.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, you are asking about the challenges, right? So it's a very open-ended question. So mostly, initially, some design was complex. Initially, it's now around 6 months back, if you ask me. There was the first I didn't do any kind of proper design, right? But yeah, initially, having knowledge of designing systems was not there, right? Let us say I want to design a system. What database will you use? I will use a NoSQL database or a SQL database. You will use caching. For caching, what will you use? You will use Redis or what? Let us say you want to build a search engine kind of thing, right? You want to optimize searches, right? So we will use Elasticsearch for that. So these are the various decisions that were difficult. If you ask me, for 6 months back, I was not aware of all these things, right? So with time, I have developed interest or developed with experience some experience in designing systems, and that is something what I believe was challenging in the beginning. Now, even very specific to Amazon, I have done couple of good system design. एक होता है feature design and system design. I've developed two big systems. That one is already delivered and one is about to deliver in March. So yeah, I think that is I think for me that was most challenging. But apart from that, coding wise and all things are very not complex. Well, not very complex. Once you have to spend some time and you are able to do. You go to any company. So yeah, I hope.
So, yes, so DSA is a must, right? DSA we need to focus a lot.
Yeah, okay. For entering any company, yes.
Okay.
For entering a product-based company, DSA to is must. That's the
Oh,
point.
oh, got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even at that time, I was preparing around 2-3 years back, so I also did good amount of DSA problems. तभी तो I'm not very much comfortable right now. I am to some extent, but yeah, I did around 300 more than 700 problems on GFG, more than 300 problems on Lead Code. So I did around more than 1,000 problems at that time. So yeah, to move into any company, especially into top product-based company, DSA is must, irrespective of the level you apply, right? For example, even at SD1's level also, when I applied 3 years back, it was asked. Now SD2 levels, I'm working at an SD2 level. So at this level also, even I have to apply to any other company at an SD2 level, let us say, still they will ask me DSA. So DSA, though it's asked irrespective of what? Irrespective of SD1, SD2, SD3, up to certain experience it is asked. I hope it answered your question. Anyone else want to have any kind of discussion before we start? It will help build some bond us between us before we actually start. Bolo. Anyone has any doubt, or should we start? Okay, start. Okay. So I think Revival round 3 and 4 is all about building applications, right? Correct. So I think it's all about you will be given a problem statement. You will be expected to. I think how much time do you get? Well, how much time do you get in round three? to build applications? Bolo. 75, only 75 minutes. Okay. And what about round 4? Round 4 is extension, right? What about round 4? 60. So basically you are given how much time to your around 2 hours, right? Correct. Let us say more than 2 hours to develop a few application, right? Now you can understand, right? Ki it is very, very difficult to to build an application from scratch in 2 hours, correct? It's not easy unless until you have practiced up to a good amount of extent, right? So see this problem statement, okay? See this problem statement, okay? So I hope you can see my screen. You can see my screen, right? Right, okay. So just see this problem statement, okay? So this is, let us say, an example problem that will be asked to you, right, in the round 3. Okay, this is an example problem. You can go through it. You can go through it. Okay, you can go through it. Go through it. Give me 1 minute. You can go through the problem. Meanwhile, let me do one thing. Give me 1 minute just. Yeah, JD is job description. That is correct, Aradhya. JD means job description. That's correct. So the problem statement is, as the time passes by, the unemployment rate is increasing. So to solve this issue, Relevel decided to create an application so that we can all can provide jobs to individual where we can log in and apply a job by looking at JD, and if suitable, then the companies can begin the hiring process, right? Okay, your task is to solve the problem and create a Relevel employee hiring. So you are given a very open-ended problem, right? Okay. So we'll start. What should be your first steps? What should be your first steps after understanding the problem statement? Bolo. DB. DB, okay. Basically, what will be your first step? सबसे पहले क्या करना? What should be your first steps? बोलो. Create schema. Okay. Schema ठीक है. और try to think more. Try to think more. What should be your first steps? Create login page. मतलब अभी pages पे मत जाओ. What should be your first cover? Think. What should be your first step? सबसे पहले क्या करना है, right? नहीं नहीं, आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू मतलब इन इट एंड ऑल सिस्टम, राइट? तो सेट अप बेसिक सर्वर एंड ऑल दैट यू विल डू ऑलवेज बाय डिफॉल्ट, ठीक है? तो सेटिंग बेसिक सर्वर एंड ऑल, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट नोड.जेएस ओनली, यू विल डू पहले से ही, राइट? यू विल नॉट वेट फॉर द 2 hours टू डू इट, राइट? So all the boilerplate code, you understand the word boilerplate? You understand the word boilerplate, right? So all your boilerplate code should be ready by default. Okay, you don't have to do any kind of uh, basic boilerplate setup at the time of this thing, right? Before pehle se hi you have to do that. Okay, now talking about what are the two things you do. Basically, I think any system you have, what do you want to do? That is correct. Some people are doing schema design, that is fine, right? But what is the schema is internal, right? But what is outside? What is outside? Bolo. You will understand the requirements, that's correct. So we'll try to understand the APIs that will be required. Does that make sense? Bolo. Does that make sense? Bolo, does that make sense? Right, right. Give me 1 minute. Let me minimize all my screens. Okay, yeah. So we have to understand the APIs. Okay. So now looking at this, think now you guys have to think सबसे पहले तो what all APIs you will create. What all APIs you will create. Okay, that's the question. Well, you will try to do. Think what all APIs we have to create. Think, well, take 5 minutes, write it on a pen and paper or type it. Take 5 minutes and take 5 minutes, that is fine. And try to think what all APIs will be created. Do we need to create? Bolo. Try to take few minutes and try to. You have to decide two things. What all? The question is, what all APIs do you need, and what all schemas? What schema should be there? किस किस की table होनी चाहिए? And what all APIs you need to create? That are the two things you have to come up with. Take few minutes. Take 5-10 minutes. The two things you have to come up with this. सबसे पहले in 5 to 10 minutes, what all APIs you need to create, right? As a minimum viable product, and the what schema should be present. What schema should be present. That are the things you want to create. Okay. When you are done doing, type it in the chat box. Okay. When you are done doing, type it in the chat box. ऐसे मत लिखो. Try to write it around. Try to club them and then tell me. Okay. Try to club them and then tell me. अंकुर अंकित आई नीड मोर आई नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड मोर concise तुम्हारे पे लेटर से 3 hours है तो what all basic API should be there in any this type of system. Okay. Okay. Try to keep things simple. Okay. साइन अप साइन इन तो ठीक है. ऑथेंटिकेशन शुड बी देयर फॉर ऑल ऑफ देम. ओके. ठीक है. ऑथेंटिकेशन शुड बी देयर फॉर ऑल ऑफ देम. दैट इज फाइन. देखो what will we do. देखो सबसे बेसिक थिंग्स क्या होंगे इफ यू ट्राई टू थिंक. देखो whenever we start building any application we talk about two things. ठीक है. One is APIs. We talk about two things. One is API, the other is the schema कि what all database में मेरा क्या क्या schema होगा, right? So these are the two things you always talk about whenever you start building any kind of application. ठीक है. So it's a kind of job hiring application, right? Now you have to understand the schema that will be present for what all schema will be present. Correct. You have to understand. So you have to understand सबसे पहले क्या होगा. What are the basic entities that should be there, right? तो सबसे पहले क्या होगी. There should be a schema for one job. Correct. There will be a schema for one job. One job can have multiple things. Very very basic thing. Correct. Correct. To create a new job, to delete a new job, right? Job होगी. ठीक है. Apart from job, what will we have? We will have now some company will be associated with a job, right? One job will have a student भी होगी, company भी होगी, right? Correct, right? So student can apply for a job, company will post a job, right? So we'll have something like a company, we'll have something like a what? Something like a student, right? Student, something like a student. So this will be a what? Anything that is associated with the job. Student is a who will apply for a job, right? So these are the various things that are what associated when it comes to schema, right? Then you will discuss the schema कि job में क्या क्या होगा. What a job will have what things. बोलो. A job will have a job ID, job details, description, skills required, company associated, and the let us say number of persons who have applied, right? The list of people who have applied. Okay. So these are the various. This is how you will first of all define the data model, right? For example, there is no correct rule, but yeah, maximum things should match. For example, data model for admin. Here they have added a different for admin and company, job, student, right? So this is the first step. That is to basically admin is a person who updates all these things, right? It's for anything who can update, right? It will have first name. It's kind of user only, right? Right. Now company is the company details, job is the job details, student is the student key details. Sorry. So there are the various scheme models that should be present. You can see me writing, right, with the red pen. You can see me writing with the red pen, right? So bolo. That is correct. Sorry, I'm not able to pronounce your same, but that is correct. There is no rule. तुम admin की जगह user भी use कर सकते हो. That is, you are saying instead of student you can use user. That is correct. You could have used instead of student user also. That is completely fine. But yeah, from high level your things should match. From high level, the biggest thing is job, right? That is correct, right? Job can have a user or a student. That is completely fine. Okay. So now the first step is to define these models and to have few validations around them. Okay. Make sense, everyone? This is the first step. Bolo. Make sense? Should we go ahead and create it? Bolo. Should we go ahead and create this models? Bolo. ठीक है. तो चलते हैं कोड में. We'll try to create this models. ठीक है. So since we are beginning, we will try to give you a proper idea. ठीक है. So let me first minimize all of them. ठीक है. A lot of things that open. ठीक है. ठीक है. Let me do one thing. Let me quickly open Visual Studio Code. ठीक है. So right now I don't have a boilerplate ready. ठीक है. I will quickly do it in front of you only. ठीक है. But you guys should have a boilerplate ready. ठीक है. एक boilerplate code बना लो that you should have run every time. Okay. Wait, give me 1 minute. Okay. Now it's fine. ठीक है. So Visual Studio Code. देखो, I will do it in front of you quickly. ठीक है. So we have to create a let us say job वाला, right? So in the यहाँ पे we will create a new folder called as let us say JD job hiring. ठीक है. Let me create a new folder or not here. Where should I create? ठीक है. Let me not create here. So let me create a open ठीक है new file or let me okay. I have some boilerplate code. I think okay. So this is the boilerplate code. Looks like boilerplate code. No, this is not a boiler. This is some different. Okay, this is some different. Okay, but yeah, you should have something like some boilerplate code ready with you. Okay, okay, okay. So I think in round 3 you might get some boilerplate code with you, right? Do you guys get or no? or you get right, correct, right? You will get right, correct. No? So what do you want to use? I was preferring will use MongoDB. You guys are comfortable with what? Mongo, right? ठीक है, मतलब any I am fine with both. ठीक है, but ठीक है, that is fine. So I think this is the boilerplate code. I think this is for DB connection. This is the kind of boilerplate code you will get. ठीक है, so you can see it has, see, this is the kind of boilerplate code. Can you see this? It will have models. ठीक है, you can see it will have controllers, right? Login, then config में db config, you will have to add things accordingly. But इसमें SQL वाला है. This is a controller for MySQL, right? This is a controller for MySQL. Okay. So yeah, I hope this is how we have to do it. ठीक है. So I already have, I think this some, let me see, db.config. I have some thing here. Okay. Let me see if it works. And I'm not sure I did it. Okay, so let me do npm start to see if it works. Okay, I've not been using it from a lot of time. Okay, so I think you can see it's here, right? So it's been working fine. Okay, so I will use the same thing here. It's a SQL, right? So you can use anything you want. Well, you can use anything you want. It's up to you guys. Okay, so let me quickly do what? The first step is we have to create models, right? Correct. So you guys are saying we'll use MongoDB, correct? You guys are more comfortable in MongoDB, if I'm correct. ठीक है. I will not. Or are they saying please use Mongo? ठीक है, I will not use this then. ठीक है, Mongo. So I will not use this. I will create our no. ठीक है, it will take some time. I will do things from scratch. Okay. ठीक है. So let me close this. ठीक है. Okay. So as a database, have you used MongoDB Atlas? Are you guys aware of MongoDB Atlas? बोलो, है ना? So we will use a MongoDB Atlas with our thing. Okay, let us quickly use. ठीक है, MongoDB Atlas. ठीक है, we'll quickly use. ठीक है, let me quickly create a new account. Well, not new account. Well, it's been a lot of days I have used it. So start free. Quickly, give me 1 minute. Okay, I didn't do this in before. ठीक है. MongoDB Atlas. ठीक है. So now start free. Sign up with Google. So देखो, this is the dashboard. Okay, this is the dashboard here. So I have to create a new cluster here, right? I think your cluster has been paused due to DK. So I think I have to create a resume, or I can create a new cluster if you want. Okay, anything should be fine. Okay, doesn't matter. So let me see if I can resume this cluster, some free cluster I created. Okay, so I think I should be able to use this cluster only. Okay, so it is opening. That is fine. Let it load. Okay, meanwhile we'll go ahead and create our basic things. Okay, so let me quickly create a new thing. देखो, I will show you how do you think make stream from scratch. Okay, ठीक है, मतलब it should be very easy for you now. ठीक है, so now let me quickly go to VS Code. ठीक है, create a new what? Let me first go to more. Okay, let me go to my root folder first. ठीक है, where is my root folder? File, go, recent. ठीक है, so desktop application, where should I make this? Give me 1 minute. ठीक है, I will let me do it in desktop only. ठीक है, let me do it in desktop only. Let me create a new folder called as what? Let us say job hiring. ठीक है, let me do a rename called as job. Why I'm not able to rename? Job. ठीक है, job finder. ठीक है, job finder. ठीक है, what will I do? I will simply simply open this in my VS Code file. से open, click simply. Okay, file, open. I will simply say open what? Go to desktop, job finder. ठीक है, okay, I will open the job finder over here. Okay, so what will I do over here? I will simply try to create, first of all, what should I create first? इसके अंदर I will quickly go. ठीक है, what do we do whenever you have to start? Simply do npm init. I will simply do npm init. This will install the package.json file. I will simply do enter, 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 enter. Okay, so it has installed package.json file. Now to start, I should have a new file called as index.js, right? That should be the minimum requirements, correct? That should be your minimum requirements, right? Now you know, right? Whenever you install an application, you require very few basic things, correct? You require basic things, right? Right. So what should I add? Bolo. बोलो. ठीक है, will okay, मतलब what I'm trying to say is so we need to have index.js, right? What should I add here? That is what I'm trying to ask. Express mongoose, ठीक है, let me install, ठीक है, npm install express. Some people are saying mongoose also install, ठीक है, ठीक है, so it will take some time, ठीक है, it will take some time, ठीक है. Or you can use index or app.js, that is anything is fine, ठीक है. Or I think you guys are aware of Morgan. Morgan is used for timestamp. You guys are aware, देखो ये सारी चीजें ना, I will give you a list. Node में on, correct, that is fine. You have to install all of them, right? That is correct. ठीक है, तो let me install quickly. So npm install what? We have Morgan, right? Then we have Node1 also will install. ठीक है, then we have bcrypt, okay, bcrypt, bcrypt, ठीक है, bcrypt. Then we'll have what? JSON web tokens, that is correct. We have a lot of things, right? That is correct. We have course, correct, we have course, ठीक है, we have then JSON web tokens, ठीक है, JSON web tokens, ठीक है. Then we have, I think, helmet. These are the few things we have read everywhere, right? Right, right. So it should be here now, ठीक है. ठीक है, it is installing. ठीक है, that is JSON web tokens. What is the spelling? Let me quickly check. Someone posted in the some package name explain meanwhile, ठीक है. It is JSON web token, not tokens. So, okay. Does someone have, do you guys have some boilerplate code? Well, it will be difficult, right? As a lot of time will be wasted here. So does someone have any boilerplate code on GitHub? Well, I will clone that. I will start with that. If anyone has by chance, bolo. Does someone has? Bolo. Does someone has? Please tell. Yeah, give me the GitHub link. I will clone that. I will use because that will be faster, right? Right, that will be faster for me. Meanwhile, let me. Okay, my cluster is running. Okay. Let me say click on connect. Okay, connect with cluster. Okay, so I can connect with my application. This is how I have to connect. Okay. This is how I have to connect. No? So what is my password? I don't even remember. So I have to check with what? Database. Okay, someone has given some boilerplate code to me. This is the MongoDB boilerplate, right? Correct? This is the MongoDB boilerplate. No, 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 no. I want the. This is fine. This I agree. This so I also have, right? This one so I also have. I was trying to ask you if you have a MongoDB boilerplate or no. No. ठीक है then. That is fine. Let us use this only then. The one. Okay. ठीक है. I can use this if you want. I can use this only. ठीक है. Let us use this. Okay. Let us copy this and let me quickly start with this only. ठीक है. We are wasted a lot of time. ठीक है. Let me quickly go to terminal. ठीक है. Let me quickly go to terminal and let me do what? Git clone. Okay, wait. Give me a minute. Okay, it is saying it already exists. ठीक है. Let me do cd desktop. Give me 1 minute. 1 minute. Yeah. So let us quickly. Okay. So you guys have given me this. ठीक ठीक है. Let me quickly use this. ठीक है. Let me use this thing only. ठीक है. Let me quickly git clone it. Okay. I will use the boilerplate. Okay. So let me quickly use. ठीक है. Let me go to. ठीक है. So now let me go to VS Code. Let me do quickly git clone. ठीक है. File open. ठीक है. Let me do what? Git clone. How will I do? See. ठीक है. So yeah, I think the first thing, everything should be there. Let me quickly go to app.js. This is fine. Matlab, this is should be fine. So this is how we have to connect, right? Mongoose.connect db config. We have to add that URL. If I go to db config, where is the db config? Where is the db config dot db URL, right? So from where you have to importing db config configs. So configs may go to db configs. So this is where we have to add our URL, correct? So here go to MongoDB Atlas. This is my MongoDB Atlas. From this is where I will copy my that link, right? So let me quickly back. Okay. Give me. So I have to go to my databases. Okay. This is my cluster. I think this is connect. I have to check my view, my this. Okay. I don't remember my password. Let me quickly check if it's there in my notes. I might have used with someone. Okay, I think my password is QWERTY123. Okay, so I will copy. I think this is same, right? 0.845. Correct. This is same, I think, right? Correct. So I will copy this. Okay, and I will simply connect to this. I will simply paste it here. Okay, I will simply paste it here. Okay. So this is my DB URL that is ready. Okay, let me quickly do npm start now. Okay, I will do it later on. So let us quickly go to app.js. What all things do we need in app.js? Bolo. What all things do I need to do in app.js, right? So I think the basic things I will do. You have already done auth controller and all. Well, I will keep it like this only. Okay. So this is fine. Auth router you have created, user router you have created. Okay. So we don't have any routes here, right? You have not created auth and user routes. That is fine. Okay. So now the main routes you have to create, models you have to create. You have created, right? So we'll continue on this only. Okay. So as discussed, what all models do we need to create? What all models do we need to create? Bolo. DB name. Let us say I can say job hire. ठीक है, job hire application. ठीक है. What all models do we need to create? बोलो. ठीक है. So सबसे पहले I think what all models do we need to create? Go ahead. We have to create what models? What all models we need to create? We need to create job portal, right? Job model and company, student, right? And this is what we discuss right here. Correct? Where is our code base? So we have to create a what model? Job model, company model, student model, right? All these things we have to create. Correct? So now what should I create? सबसे पहले बोलो. सबसे पहले what should I think we can create a student one. Student one should be straightforward, right? So let me quickly create. Go to where do I create? Models may create a new file called as what? Called as it should be something like student.js. Okay, it is a student.model.js, something like this, right? So it should be student.model.js. Okay, student.modl.js. Okay, so this is to for student, right? So I will create a simple, let us say constant mongoose is equal to quickly do require what require mongoose. ठीक है, mongoose. ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है. Then I will simply say what I need what I want to create a schema, right? I will simply say constant student schema is equal to what I will create a schema. How do we create a schema? Mongoose dot schema. ठीक है. I will create this. Then I have to define this schema. Okay. Then I have to define this schema. So what all things should be there? देखो, I'm just telling you how to do it. ठीक है, in very detail. I have you how you clone boilerplate code. Uh, uh, Neelu just use git clone and the name of the thing, and that is how you clone anything from GitHub. Okay, that is how you clone anything from GitHub. Okay, so now I have to do what? I have to create a schema for student, right? I have to create a schema for student. So what all things should be there? I think first name, last name, the very basic thing, right? So I'm just showing you how you do it. Okay. Very detail. I will go in what the movie booking application, right? Right now I will just show you. Okay. In very detail of each and everything, I will go in movie booking. Okay. So we have type as string, right? Basically, I'm just telling you how do you proceed with this thing. We have type as string, then required over. So it will be required as true. Correct, required as true. Then we after first name we'll have what? Last name. Correct, we'll have last name. Okay, then we'll have a phone number. Okay, we'll have a phone. Okay, phone. Then we'll have what? uh, Email. Then we'll have what? Password. Okay, so all these things, right? So this will be there for each and every student that has been created, right? Email, password, right? Correct. And also I think you can create, okay, you are aware of concept of user, right? You are aware of user, right? So either you can create a user with different roles, or you can create different student and admin as well directly. Okay, so you can simply create something like this, right? For example, I think this should be enough, right? And we can simply say created at, let us say by default type should be date, and let us say default should be the date only. Okay, default should be the current date whenever it is created. Okay, so now that is how you create a schema, right? Now iske andar we can simply say last name will be also what, this, phone will be also type string, default should be, let us say, required this true, phone number, let us say default is by default empty string, right? Default it's a empty string, let us say. Email, you can simply say what, type as string, the same thing, required as true. Password is also uh, required as string and it has true. Okay, then this is fine. Okay, then we'll simply export it from this file. How do you export? Simply use module dot export. Is exports is equal to what? Now you know, right? One schema can have multiple models. You know the difference between schema and a model? Do you guys know the difference between a schema and a model? Schema is just a blueprint. One model can be shared, can be created using, one schema can be used for multiple models. Bolo. You know that the difference between schema and model? You know the difference between schema and model? Bolo. Right? So I will simply do what? Now mongoose dot model. Okay, model. I want to create a new model with this schema. That is student schema. Okay, that is how I've created a new student model. So Aradhya, देखो, I will explain you quickly. ठीक है? So देखो, I will explain you first of all where we are going. Okay. So the goal of these 3-4 classes is to make sure that how do you proceed in an interview. Okay, I will not build a complete application in a single class. Okay. How do you? I will discuss the various things you want to do when you apply or when you do this, when you actually are in that round. Right now, after these 3-4 classes, I will move to movie booking application that I will develop entirely from scratch each and every point. Okay, that will be around 10 classes, right? That will be around 10 classes. Okay, so the goal of these initial 3-4 classes is to give you interview preparation tips. Okay, anything I will go through each and everything. Okay, anything you don't get, please ask me directly. Okay, so this is just a preparation for movie booking. Okay, so yeah, go ahead. Aradhya is saying, can you explain the bit? This is schema. Schema means what? A kind of blueprint, right? This is a schema. This schema has first name, last name, first name, email, password, right? Now let us say I want to create two models. One is a student model and one is a, let us say, admin model. Now if you want, if you want both of them to have a same structure, they can use the same schema. So let us say this is one schema, common schema I have created. Two models, that is student model and admin model, both of them can use the same schema. They both of them can use the same schema. Okay, so that is why I'm saying one schema can be used by multiple models. Here we, although we have a student schema, using this schema we are creating a student model. That is fine, but you got the difference between a schema and a model, right? Schema is just like a blueprint and model is just like uh, a copy of that blueprint, right? A kind of a class and object kind of thing. Okay, okay, so that is how you will do it. Okay, so this is how we have created a student model, right? So now similarly we'll create what kind of model? Company model, right? Company may will have first name, yes, last name, yes, right? Then we have company name, company email, company phone number, then email, right? All these things will have, right? Correct, Hana? That is what all things will be have in this particular thing, correct? We'll have all these things, right? Company, student may have the first name, last name, phone, email, password, create, right? Then we'll have a company, right? Company will have a very basic things. Okay, let us say create a new file. Let us say company dot model dot js, correct? Then what will I have over here? Let us say again the same thing, right? I will copy the same thing, this, right? Okay, I will copy this quickly. Okay, so now what do I need here? So this is, let us say, company schema now. Company COMPANY Okay, this is company schema. This is mongoose dot schema. First name, last name, all these things are there, right? So company में क्या क्या होगा? First name, last name. Do we need in a company? No, right? I think we don't need, right? What do you guys say? Do we need? No, right? What do you guys say? Name of the model is missing. That is fine. We'll do it. No, right? No need. Okay, we'll ignore that. We don't need this, right? So in company, what all things do we need? I think we need very basic things like company ka name, right? Company name, right? For example, I need a company name, COMPANY company name. I need. Apart from that, company email I need. Okay, company email IDs. Okay, company email IDs. Okay, let us will have some password that company will use. Let us say. Okay, or let us say we have company name, company email. Then we have a company phone. Okay, if you want, we can have a company phone direct like this. Okay, company phone. Okay, name, email, phone. Okay, all these things are fine. Okay, so yeah, I've created very basic things for now. Okay, all these things are fine. Okay, then module like this is company schema. This is company schema. Okay, that is how I've created a very basic company schema for now. Okay, so now we will have what? Job, right? Let me create a new file called as job.model.js. Okay, what all things will be have over here? Let us say constant. I will copy that. The same thing, right? यहाँ से copy कर लो. So mongoose equals to require mongoose. ठीक है. Then I will have a job schema. Job schema is equal to, I will simply say what? Mongoose dot schema schema. What happened to this mongoose? What happened to this? Mongoose dot schema, right? It's not coming. schema. ठीक है, that is why it's coming. Now what do I need to pass inside? I need to have a company. देखो, now every job will have what? बोलो. Every job will have a kind of company ID. Let me say every job will have a what company posted it. I will simply say it's a company ID. ठीक है, COMPANY ID. ठीक है, again PANY ID. ठीक है, we can have, let us say, type as kind of string only. ठीक है, company ID will be there. ठीक है, then type as string. Then let us say required as, it will be a necessary, so required as true. Then what do we have? What is the title of this job? Let us say I have a title of this job. Okay, then I will simply say type as what? String. Okay, title is string. Then now required of this, required is what? Required is true, right? Title is required. Then you can have a job description, correct? Key what all things you require and all that is called as description. Okay, again type as string. Okay, type as string, and then required as true. So yeah, so these are the things I need. Okay, so now, yeah, where I was, job description I need, right? All these things I need. Then okay, now one job can have multiple applicants, right? Correct. One job we have to create number of students, right? Or you can say applicants, right? So I have to create a applicant. That should be an array kind of thing, right? Kind of an array. You can simply say number of applicants we have for this particular job. Then I will simply say type should be array, correct? Then by default it should be an empty array. So you can say there are no applicants, so default should be an empty array. Okay. Or then if you want, you can created that by default. तो हमने करा ही था पहले भी. तो ठीक है. Type will be what? Type will be date. ठीक है. And बोलो default should also be date. ठीक है. Now default should also be date. ठीक है. Then I will simply say module dot exports is equal to, simply say mongoose dot model, right? Model, what is the name of the model you want to create? Let us say it's the name of the model is jobs. Then now I have to create the model on job schema, right? Okay, now similarly, okay, did we create the name here? Okay, I didn't create name, right? So here the model should be student, correct? Here the model name should be student, ठीक है? Then this, ठीक है? Here the model name should be company, ठीक है? Company, COMPANY, it should be like this, ठीक है? So company, job, model, ठीक है? So yeah, I think we have created a company. Every have a this and this, ठीक है? बोलो, does this make sense, everyone? बोलो, make sense, everyone? We have a company, we have a job, we have a student. बोलो, ठीक है? So we have created a very basic things, right? We have created very basic models, ठीक है? We have created very basic models, ठीक है? We have company, job, student, and all these things, right? Now what do we need to do? बोलो. After models, that's the first step, right? So सबसे पहले देखा कि मतलब we are just discussing how do we proceed, how will you proceed? Given any application, you will first discuss the various models you require to create quickly. In less than 15-20 minutes you should be able to create models, right? तो ठीक है, मतलब इतने में नहीं लगना चाहिए, right? We just take 15 minutes to define all the models, right? If you have even practice, you have the boilerplate code setup, right? The first step is to basically understand the requirements set, try to come up with all the models that will be required, right? Quickly discuss, think of all the fields required, basic fields required, okay? Then simply what? If you have time, you can add validations and all, but it's difficult and for 2 hours. But yeah, when you are developing a proper application, you have to add proper validations also. But yeah, the main point is to tell you that whenever you are given any application, always first start with proper create a model for whatever use cases you have. Okay, come up with proper models that are required and simply try to build for them. Clear, everyone? Initial steps. Bolo, initial steps are clear. Bolo. Okay. So that is how you start, right? Now, what are the next steps? What are the next steps? This is then that is where you create a what? API for authentication. Now, this is something, do you need to create an each and every? Should you create this for each and everything? No, right? Shouldn't this be a part of boilerplate code? Bolo. Shouldn't this be a part of a boilerplate code? Correct? So jab bhi you have correct. So when whatever boilerplate code you have, make sure uske andar there should be user.model. Then there should be a route for user routes. I think this is where this is not present, but there should be proper routes. think I can show you more. I have created a, let us say, let me show you my e-commerce application. I took some FSD for e-commerce batch. Okay. So if you show, let us say user models, right? So over there, I did everything in very detail. Okay, that got closed or what? Okay, so if you go to over here, for every user dot routes, okay. So basically basically it should have auth routes. So sign up, sign in, these are the authentication routes, right? App.post, right? Sign up and sign in. These are the authentication routes, correct? So all these, if you see, these should be the kind of, now right, key auth controllers. Similarly, these are the APIs for what? Create an API for sign up and sign in. So where will you create? Go to routes or dot routes. You will create two APIs, post APIs, that is to sign in and sign up. Correct? Both will be signed. Then sign up for creating a new account based on your role. Right now, log in into an account based on your role. Okay, so basically you can keep these things in your boilerplate code. You will just modify them to simply do this, right? Right. For also, we have to validate profile data. For success, return proper response code. For failure, that is fine. That is obvious, right? Okay. Now, after that, you talk about what? You have to create API for companies. Right? Create API for jobs. Okay. Then create API for the profiles. The profile is that is fine. It's not required for 2 hours. Okay. So we'll start with, we'll see how we can start. Okay. So let us try to start with what? Authentication. Let us see if we can do. Okay. Let us go ahead. Now let us go back. Okay. Let me go back to now our thing only, what we were doing. We were at where? Go to desktop, go to job finder. Okay. Go to job finder. This is where we have to do something, right? So wait, where we were? Wait, sorry. File, open, present. Okay. So yeah, now what do we have to create here, right? What do we have to create here, right? So first of all, obviously, as discussed, we need to create what? We need to create what? What? Bolo. I have to create what? API for authentication, right? Correct? Correct. So we need to create API for authentication, right? Correct. So now what will we create? Bolo. I will go to my auth. config.js. ठीक है, I don't care about this. I will go to my odd.route. So इसमें if you try to see in odd.route, you need to create what? Basically for your sign up and your login, right? So basically you need to create what? App.post. ठीक है, you need to create for app.post. ठीक है, what will you create over here? I will have to get slash, let us say sign up. ठीक है, and for what role you want to create. That is why it's a what? It's a kind of, you can see, right? It's a single sign up. Role is for, is it a student or it's a admin or it's a kind of what? Or a, well, you got the point, right? Well, we can have a kind of role over here. This role will be a kind of params. Okay. Now we will have some controller over here. We'll simply say some controller will create over here. Okay. Similarly, we'll have a app.post. Okay. That will be for what? Login. Correct. That will be for login. Now again, login may will also have role. For what role you want to log in. Okay. For what role you want to log in. That is what they were wanting over here, right? If you go back over here, for login into your account, company or individual. Okay. So basically it's a sign up for a company or a sign up for an individual. It's a sign up for a what? Login and sign up for a thing. But what is the issue? What is the issue here? Have we made common things? No, right? No, right? So have we made common models? No, right? So I think if we have not made common models, so can we create a single API for both? No, right? I बोलो, try to think. मतलब हमने no, right? हमने common models तो रखे नहीं, right? We have created different models for them. We cannot create what? We cannot create what? The same API for them, right? है ना? So I think this is where we can take a decision. I think we can modify our models if you want. Company maybe we have name, email, phone number, and all these things. In job, in student also we have what? Name, email, phone number, email, password, all these things, right? So I think for company maybe we can have something like this: name, right? Company first name, company last name, phone number, email, password, all these things, right? Correct. है ना? So I think we can register as a company also, company name. ठीक है, I can simply copy that. I think we can use the same model in student वाला जो हमने किया था in the company as well. ठीक है, let me quickly copy this. ठीक है, I think this should work. I think first name, this is the company first name, company last name, or basically last name will be empty. It should be company first name, then phone number, email, password created that. Now if you want, you can use the same schema in both of them. Okay, it's the same schema. You don't even need to create a new schema here. Okay, you don't even need to create a new schema here if you want. Okay, so now they should be what? Company schema, and it should be, let us say, company schema. Okay, company schema. Okay, now let us quickly try to do what? Let us go back to our VS Code. Okay, let us go back to our VS Code. Okay, now this is where I have to create what? Bolo. The next step is to always create routes. We have created 2 routes. This is will create, right? The other is to sign in as per role. Okay, sign in as per role. Okay, sign in as per role. Okay, so depending upon what role you are, right, you are signing as a role. Okay, now here you will create a controller. Correct. Here you will create a controller. So you will go to controllers. You will go to auth controllers. So this is where you have written sign up and sign in. You can see, right? Sign up and sign in. Okay. You have written a logic for sign up and sign in. Sign up and sign in. Okay. So, okay. So now I can discuss you this logic with you guys. I think this is a very, very important logic, right? With every application you create. Okay, I can discuss you this logic. Okay, I can quickly open the other application and I will discuss the logic. What logic you should have in your what? Let me quickly open. Okay, file. Let me say open recent FST4. Okay, let me quickly save. Okay, so yeah, let me quickly go to auth controllers. Okay, so that is where you have to discuss. Okay, so now I think what basic logic do you need for sign up? So if you try to see, if I go to sign up, this is sign up is register. If I go to routes, this is a simple route for sign up. Okay, these are the simple routes for sign up. If I go show you my models, this is my user model. Okay, so if you try to see here, every user has an ID, username, email, and password. That is a very, very basic thing, right? Username, user ID, email, and password. Okay, then we have a role. So then we have roles also, right? Right, role can be of anything. Role is ID. Every role has an ID and a name. Okay, every role has an ID and a name. Okay. Now if you try to see, what will I try to do over here? So go to auth controller. So routes may we will have two routes. Okay. In auth routes may we'll have two routes. One is for sign up, one is for sign in. Right. So now that is fine. If you try to see one thing, so you can see controllers here. That is fine. Controller for sign up and controller for sign in. But did you see something in between? Did you see something in between? So my question is, should you have validation logic in these controllers? Should you have validation logic in these controllers? Bolo. Should you have validation logic in these controllers? No. No. Rather no. Never ever try to have any validation logic in the controllers, right? As you can see here, right? All the validation logic should go to the middlewares. Can you see now how beautifully we have added sign up validator dot check duplicate email or username, sign up validator dot check role exist. So always go to middlewares. इसमें you will have to create a validators. So sign up validators I have created. Can you see? Sign up validators I have created. In this, middlewares are something that will run even before the actual the request reaches the actual controllers, right? Correct. So now even before, what I'm trying to say, even before the request reaches the where, even before the request reaches the sign up wale authentic the controller pe, the middleware will run, right? So even before the request reaches the sign up controller, it will go through a list of middlewares. So if I go back to my auth routes, I have said even before the call reaches to the auth controller.signup, it should go through a list of middlewares. What are the list of middlewares? These are the list of middlewares. First is to check duplicate email or username. Second is to check if the role exists. Got it? The concept behind validation is clear. Well, this is a very, very good point. People mostly miss this. But yeah, are you clear with this point? Clear with this point? All API validation logic should be passed to middlewares. Okay. All API validation logic should be passed to middlewares. Okay. Now, if I go to middlewares, so it is what? Sign up validator dot check email and password, sign up validator dot check if role exists. Okay. Sign up validator dot duplicate email or password, sign up validator dot check if role exists. Okay. So now, if you see over here, go to auth JWT middlewares. Now, okay, this sign this. Okay. So if you, I will have two things over here. One is to, one is to check duplicate user email or username. See, if you see over here, it is checking what, whether it's a duplicate email or username. Okay. And over here, Parag, there are a lot of advantages, right? First of all, देखो, controller is for business logic. Listen to me very, very carefully. Controllers are for business logic. ठीक है? So controller का काम है to hold the actual logic. To hold the actual logic, let us say I want to add a new product in the some database. So controller should have only the logic to add a product. Okay, it should not have had the logic to check if the product is valid or not, to check the product name is less than 5 characters or not. Okay, so the goal of the controller should only to have the business logic. This is not business logic. These are validations. Okay, that is why even before you have to do these validations, even before the request reaches the controllers. Does that answer to you, Parag? Does that answer your question, Parag? Okay. So now if you see what we are doing in this, check duplicate email or password, username and email I'm getting. First I'm trying to user.find, check if this user, okay, I have to check, right, whether what the user, okay, when a person sign up, he will send what, username and email. I have to check, right, whether that username or email is already there or not. Correct? So I'm making a call to userdb, user.find one by username, user.find one by email. Can you see this? Right? This is why. Then only if they go what I'm promise.all. Do you know about promise.all? Do you guys know what is promise.all? Right? What does that mean? All this promise should be settled, then only the response will come. Right? So promise.all, right? Ideally, it should not have a response. Correct? Correct? Right? So for a correct, even if any one of them is present, we will say it is already exists. So users of 0 will have what? The response of this. Users of 1 will have response of this. Right? If both promise settled. Right? Then if any one of them is present, you will say username or email is already in use. Right? Then you will be next. Okay, so these are the best practices that how do you handle sign up. So this you should add in every boilerplate code. ठीक है, ये सब code you can add पहले से ही, right? Correct? You don't have to wait for the problem statement for all these things. So clear everyone how beautiful it is written. This point is clear. Check duplicate email or username, right? So how we have written it. Okay, I will share this link with you also by the end of the class. ठीक है, ठीक है. Similarly, let us say he was also applied for roles. उसमें roles with request dot body add roles. Now we have to check, right, that whatever roles he has passed, whether that roles are present with us or not, right? Correct. So that is how we'll also check. Whatever roles he has presented, right? He has asked to sign up for whether that roles are valid or not. Let us say admin role, let us say viewer role, let us say some other role. We will check whether that particular exists or not. Okay, whether that particular roles exist or not, right? So now one more thing, you will not pass validators as a separate entity, separate objects. You will export them by clubbing them into a single object. That verify sign up is a object that you will. So now anyone wants to have any logic for verifying sign up request, you will add this in a verify sign up. That is why you will see how intuitive it is कि हम verify sign up के किसी एक function को call कर रहे हैं, right? If I go back to my where go back to my uh, where should I go? To my routes, right? Auth routes. You will see how beautifully sign up validator. I've added a sign up validator dot this. ठीक है, that very intuitively we are checking कि validator का. So that is why it's a beneficial to club them into a single object and then you will export it. If you go back, all the sign up validators, I am clubbing them into a single object and that is how we are returning them. That is how we are returning them. And that is how we are returning them. Okay. Make sense? Make sense, everyone? Okay. Only after this happens, because these are the best practices, I'm showing you the best practice. Okay. So that is what matters, right? I will go into details of the application with movie booking. Before that, we are preparing for the best practice for the next 3 to 4 classes. Okay. We'll go through each and everything that is required to make sure that we are well prepared for movie booking, right? Then I will look entirely coding. Okay. Fully coding for movie booking. Okay. Yeah. Now, after this is being done, I will move to auth controller.sign up. I will move to auth controller.sign up. Okay. Now this is where the actual business logic should lie. Correct? This is in the controllers, your actual business logic should lie. Okay. So now this, when the call is reaching here, we don't care whether that user is there or not. Can you see what is the actual business logic? Just to initialize the default role and see, we are directly creating it. Can you see? देखो sign up का मतलब क्या है? To directly create, right? To create a new user, that's it, right? So that's the actual business logic. If you see, this is we are actually creating a new business logic inside of this. Okay, we are creating a new user inside of this. We are creating a new user over here. Okay, we are creating a new user over here. Okay, so that is how we have to handle this. Okay, that is how we have to handle this. Okay, now then what do we have to do? This, after this, we are able to done with sign up. Okay, that is how we are able to done with sign up. Okay, so now let us move to login. Okay, अब देखो the same work for login, how it was happening. Now if you see, I didn't write any kind of validators for sign in. Okay, I didn't write any kind of validators for sign in. Now just to show you, I will show you that how bad the controller will look. If I go back to auth controller and show you this, can you see now how, now compare the sign in controller and the sign up controller, which is looking better? See now, can you see what all things we are doing in sign in controller? Checking whether the username password are there, then finding the user, then checking password and all, then doing something. Can you see that all these validations I have to do where? In the controller. So does it looks good? No, right? Or the top one looks good? The top one looks good, right? Correct? Bolo, right? है ना? So that is why if you can see, always try to remove all the validations from the controllers. Move it to the you have to move all these to the what middleware or to the middlewares. Okay. So now sign in may I didn't write any middlewares over here. So now what in any boilerplate code, what all logic should be there? First check whether this is a part of validations, right? These are the part of validation, whether the username or password exists or not, right? Now first we'll try to get a user, correct? By a username. The password is not even in the context right now. First we'll try to get a user. Dekho. First I will try to get a user from the username, correct? If the user is not there, return 500. Okay. Okay. Well, base not 500. Sorry, this is for server error, right? Now, if user is not there, return 400 errors, right? That is user not found. Correct. 400 is for client side errors, right? Right. If the user is not present, this means what? The username for which that was passed for that particular thing, username is not present. Okay. Does that make sense? Right. Then we'll get, if that I'm coming over here, that means the user exists. If the user exists, only after that I will check the password and the password stored in the database. You know, right? We always store the hash of the passwords in a database, right? Correct? Right? So bcrypt dot compare sync the password that was stored and the, so if you see, this is where we did that. If you go to sign up, if you go to sign up, you will have that we did this, right? Did you see this? We used the bcrypt library to store the hash of the password in the database. How was the password stored? Bcrypt dot hash sync and password as 8. That is how it was stored, right? Correct? Hana? That is how it was stored, right? You are aware of this? How do we store passwords? You're aware of this, right? Right. That is how we will store a password. Correct. After this, what will we do? After this, what will we do? You have stored your passwords. Now, when we are logging in, you will do what? You will do bcrypt dot compare sync the actual password and the password stored in the database. The actual password and the password stored in the database. So this password is coming from the request.body. This user.password is the hash of the password that is stored in the database. bcrypt.compare sync with return a boolean depending upon whether the passwords are matching or not. Okay. So if the passwords are not valid, what do you have to do? If the passwords are not valid, what do you have to do? You have to return a status of 401. That is invalid passwords. Okay. So you always return a 401 for when the password is invalid. Okay. Now invalid password or credentials. Okay. So now that is how you validate a username and a password in any given boilerplate. Okay. Now when I'm reaching line number 50, what does that mean? That username and passwords both are correct. Correct? That username and password both are correct. Now when I validated ki both of them are correct, that is how we will, that is when we'll do what? Create a new JWT token and we'll pass it as a response back in the login. Correct? So I will create a new JWT token with a payload as some payload. I am storing the only you will store the identifiers in the payload of the JWT. I'm only passing the ID. Correct? So because every time a user sends me any request, he has to pass a JWT token. So it should have a payload, right? To identify whether who is making a request. Correct? You know the benefit of this payload, right? You know the logic behind this JWT token, right? Why do we need this payload? You know this, right? Bolo. You know this, right? That why do we Aradhya secret key is just to what? To make sure that we are encrypting it, right? We will not push this secret key in the code base. It's in the environmental variables. It's in the environmental variables. What does that mean? ये जो मेरे local मेरे जो where my code is deployed, it will have some environmental variables, right? Let us say you know Heroku, you know Heroku, you know Heroku, right? You know Heroku, right? So let us say your code is deployed at Heroku. Now Heroku environment have its own environmental variables, right? So we will not store secrets key in the code base that is exposed, easy to be exposed. We'll store it in the local environmental variables. Okay, got it? So that is why abhi local process.env, it is in my local environment variables, but in production we'll not push this to production. Instead, will store this secret key in the local in the environmental variables of where our code is deployed. Okay, so basically this secret key is used to create a token, right? To create a token, you know, right? It will create a hash using this secret key, right? And this payload will be required to, every time in the future user sends a request, we need to identify, right, key which user is making a call, right? Which user is making a call. So how will we identify that? We will, using the JWT token, we will decrypt the payload. Payload may will have the ID. Using the ID, we will be able to understand who is the user who was actually trying to make a call. And this is a simply expiry that, let us say, we are giving for 1 day or something like that. Okay, so that is how we have created a JWT token. And finally, we'll try to append some roles and all, that is fine. But yeah, by the end of the day, we'll do what? We'll create a response and we'll send it back to a user. The biggest thing that is useful to a user is this access token. Every time in the future, user makes a request, after logging in, he will pass a access token along with that. Clear everyone, this point? Bolo. This point is clear? Okay, I will explain payload. Yeah, I will go ahead and explain the payload. Okay, I will explain the payload. देखो, now let me quickly explain you this concept. देखो, it's very important concept. ठीक है? देखो, now why do you need JW tokens? You know this, right? देखो, let us say सबसे पहले login किया. ठीक है? Login में what will it will give me? It will give me what? Username and password. Correct? Username and password it will give me. Correct? Username and password it will give me. Correct? It gives me username and password. ठीक है? And you will verify this. You know कि username password था, इसने कुछ मांगा है, and you will send it back. Correct? You will send it back. Now let us say login हो गया है. Let us say I want to now, let us say, add a new product in Amazon. Let us say add a new product in Amazon. Add a new product. Correct? Let us say I make a new post call to add a product to my backend. Now I am already logged in. How will this server get to know this which person is making a call? This server wants to know, right? Ki I am getting a call to add a new product. Who is actually making this call? This it wants to know, right? Correct? Correct? है ना? Only then he should be able to decide कि मुझे allow करना है नहीं करना, right? Correct? So that is where JWT helps. So whenever a person logs in, server will send a JWT back as a response to a login. Whenever he makes any fresh request, he will pass a JWT inside the request. ठीक है? Server will check JWT first of all कि JWT valid है. If JWT is valid, इसका मतलब user is authenticated. User is authenticated कि मतलब कोई authenticated user try कर रहा है. That is fine. But now server will do what? From the token, it will try to extract the payload. Why payload? Payload will have the user information कि कौन user try कर रहा है. So payload will have the ID. On the basis of the ID, will fetch the what? User information from a database. User info. Now let us say he will check. You have to check कि मुझे सिर्फ admin को allow करना है. On the basis of this ID, he will try check in the database क्या whether this user is that how to check is admin using token. That is what you have to check, right? It will only have the ID. It will only have the ID. Now you will check in the database कि जो ID है उसके roles में check in the database whether it has admin or not. Only if it has admin, then only you will say allow the person to add a new product, else you will reject it. So this is called as authorization. Authorization मतलब whether a correct person is allowed to make a request or not. मतलब if a valid person is making a request, that is authentication कि बंदा logged in है नहीं. Now whether a person is authorized to do that particular task or not, that is called as authorization. Got it everyone? बोलो. Does this make sense? Right. So did you get the benefit of this payload? ये payload में क्या होगी? ID. Server will use this ID to fetch the user information and will check whether the user is admin or not, or any user details. Clear everyone? Did you get this point? Bolo. Did you get this point? ठीक है. So I hope you were able to I will also help you with more things. ठीक है, I will go you the entire app in मतलब give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. ठीक है, I will go you the entire app. ठीक है, so I hope it is clear. ठीक है, मतलब now I will show you after this की how do you make consequent request. ठीक है, but yeah, I hope till now you are getting things. As I told you, the goal of these classes is to make sure your each and every concept is revised and clear. ठीक है, so you in the this is what we'll do. Okay, so I hope you are learning. ठीक है, so can we take a break now? Can we take a kind of 15-20 minutes break for dinner break now? बोलो, मतलब मोस्टली नॉर्मल क्लासेस हाउ लॉन्ग इज योर ब्रेक इन नॉर्मल क्लासेस? कितना होता है तुम्हारा ब्रेक? 15 मिनट, मतलब कितना होता है इन योर नॉर्मल क्लासेस? जस्ट आस्किंग, मतलब व्हाट अदर मेंटल तुम्हारी, हाउ मच वाज योर ब्रेक इन प्रीवियस क्लासेस? 18 मिनट्स? व्हाट इज 18? ठीक है, दैट इज फाइन. ठीक है, I will take the question session. Matlab, I will take the question. Okay. So let us meet around 9:50. Okay. You can take a break. Meanwhile, you can revise if you come early. Okay. We'll meet today. I have some. Okay. But I will try to keep 20 minutes break today. Okay. We'll meet at 9:50. Okay. Chalo. Thank you. Yeah, hi everyone. Are you guys back? Are you guys back? Are you guys back? I can't see your messages. ठीक है, ठीक है, चलो. Sorry for being late. ठीक है, that is fine. So I hope you are able to clear till now. ठीक है. So now what is the expectation? अभी तक तो हमने देख लिया है. Till now we have learned what? कि जब भी whenever we are getting what? Whenever we are getting a login request, we are able to send the JWT back. The next step is कि any request that is coming, we have to make sure कि whether that JWT is deserialized. Okay, we have to basically, let us say this is, let me show you. This is, let us say, okay, now this is something you have to see. Can you see the first to create a new category? In, let us say in Amazon, you have new categories, right? Correct. So can you see the first post request? Can you see the first post request? App.post. Can you see this? See this. So that is fine. Now, if you see, before actually creating the category, what things it is doing? Can you see what all things we are doing? Can you see what all things we are doing? Right. So in this, basically we are calling two middlewares and one controller, right? One middleware is to validate the request. Second middleware is to verify the token. Dekho, in the first request, what will you do? Request validators. Dekho, now request validator should be in a separate folder. Now you see request validator dot, I did what? Validate category request, correct? Hana? Validate category request. So did you see how I have used it? So validate category request. So this is where I'm checking the what? The validating the category request. So in this right now it is only empty. But did you see that all the request validation, you can also have different category, let us say different files for different type of, let us say category validators, product validators. You can have different type of validators, right? If you can see, it is validate category request. So always make a habit to pass all the validators to middlewares, be it common validators or be it generic validators, right? Well, common or be it very specific related to that. But make sure that you are passing all the validators to, we can do required true instead. That is fine. That is fine. That is also fine. Required to, that is fine. That is correct. That is correct. Okay, you can do that. In that case, the model will be taking care of that. That is correct. But that is fine, right? So now the main point is, okay, Parag, the main point over there is, उसमें क्या होगा? मतलब we will first go through the controller And by the end of the day, when we actually insert something in a database, we'll get an exception from a database. Correct? That is what we'll do, right? Hana? Correct? That is what you are saying, right? So that is fine, but that is a different type of validation. This is a different type of validation. That is our internal validation. This is external validation, right? So it's always better to have both the validation on both the sides. Okay, as the best practices, we try to keep validations on both the sides, on the DB side as well as on the API. These are API request validations. Okay, these are request validations. So it is recommended to keep it on both the sides. Okay. Okay. Now, uh, now after this, you will see very important AuthJWT middleware. That is very important, and that is used by almost all the requests that is present in my thing, right? So this is to verify a token, correct? I think except authentication में उसके अलावा हर जगह this should be called, correct? Verify token. What is the goal of this middleware? The goal of this middleware is to what? Is to to make sure that the request that is coming is by a authenticated user and that's it. इसका काम सिर्फ यही है, right? Now can it check authorized? No, right? Now listen to me. I'm going to show you a very important thing. Okay. Now let us say I have cart routes. Correct. Let us say I have let us say cart controllers. Right. Let us say I have a cart controller. Let us say you want to only allow post for admin, whereas get should be allowed for all authenticated users. How will you handle this use case? Where will you write this logic? Bolo. Try to think. You want to allow post request for all admin users, whereas get request for all authenticated users. How will you handle this? Bolo. All authenticated, be it normal regular user or its admin user. Bolo. How will you handle this? Tell me. How will you handle this? Right? So now the duty of the verified token is first to check whether the user is authenticated or not. सबसे पहले, what is the duty of the verified token? Is to check whether the user is authenticated or not. ठीक है? तो go to verify JWT. ठीक है? इसमें क्या है? Verify JWT है, right? In this, the first step is to check whether the token is present or not. सबसे पहले I will read the header, check if that particular header for token is not present, return 403 forbidden, that JW token is missing, so you are forbidden for this. Okay, 403 is forbidden, I think, right? After you are confirmed that the token is present, then you will say jwt.verify, pass the token and the same secret key you used while signing the JWT. The same secret key you will pass that you used at the time of signing JWT. Does that make sense, everyone? This is the token and this is the secret key. Does that make sense? Does this make sense, everyone? Bolo. Okay. Finally, now after this, now listen me. If it is verified at line number, if error is coming, we'll say, if this error is coming in the callback, this is the third thing is the callback function we pass. If the error is present, what do we say? That the request is unauthorized. Does this make sense? If the error is present, we say that the token is incorrect. Token is incorrect, and the user is unauthorized. Does this make sense? Does this make sense? Right. If error is present, we say, right. Now, if I'm reaching line number 18, what can I say? If I'm at line number 18, what can I say? What can I say? If I am line number 18, what can I say? That the user is authenticated. Correct? Till now, I've only said user is authenticated. Correct? Bolo, correct? It is clear? So that is how we have checked authentication. Now, how will you check authorization? Now let us say, does this verified token knows कि कौन सी call आई थी? Does this verified token knows it was the call to post call for to create a new category? Does this middleware knows that? Does this middleware knows that? बोलो. How will it do authorization? Does this middleware knows कि the call was to what? Create a new category? बोलो. Does this middleware knows that? Does this middleware know that? No. So if it doesn't know, can it do validation? Can it do this validation? Bolo. No, right? So that is why who will do the validation? The authorization validation will be done by the controller itself. Did you get this point? Authentication check was done by the middleware, but authorization check will be done by the controller itself. Bolo. Does this make sense, everyone? Does this make sense? You know? Okay. So, but the issue is what now? Let us say this category routes, category controller. This category controller needs to know, right? अब इसको कैसे पता लगेगा? Now, this category controller has the information कि whether the user is admin or not? No, right? No, right? No, right? This controller doesn't have any information. It only has request and response. So what will we do? To bridge this gap, we will append all the information in the request object. So once we are able to verify the token, what will we do? We will see this. What will we do? Now see this logic, very, very important. अब हम क्या कर रहे हैं देखो. Request.user, request.roles, request.isAdmin, whether जो सारे के सारे eligible roles है उसके अंदर admin है या नहीं, whether the admin is present in that or not. So on the basis of that, I am appending 3 more things inside of the request object. एक बार ये वाला logic देखो, see if this makes sense. I'm getting, okay, ये user ID कहाँ से आ रही? Can someone tell this? From where is this user ID coming? Line number 18. From where is this user ID coming? Anyone? From where is this user ID coming? Anyone? Go ahead. From where is this user ID coming? ये नहीं ये user ID कहाँ से आ रही है? ये कोई यार साइन इन पे थोड़ी होती है. साइन इन में तो यूजर नेम सब होता है. This is coming from a payload. Got it now? The token has a payload decoded, right? Correct? So this user ID is coming from a payload that you inserted at the time of creating a token. So this is where it helps. You see, जब मैंने decode किया token को, तो I get what? A user ID. Got it? Now that user ID से I will get a user from my database, right? Then I will check its roles, right? Then I will append all these user information in a request object that will be passed to the controllers. Now, did you get this point? Sari ki sari requests are going through this auth JWT. So all the requests that are going through this will have the user info. So token contain the user ID. That is correct. Aniket, that's correct. हमने payload में तो add करी थी. If you go ahead and see the logic for what? Sign up. If you go ahead and see the logic for auth controller में, if you see this is यही तो करा हमने. That is what I showed you, right? If I show you the sign in property, jwt.sign, this is a payload. ID as user ID. At the time of logging in, when we were creating a token, we passed the ID in the payload, right? Then over here, what we will do? What will we do? What will we do? jwt.verify the token with the secret key. And then we have finally get that ID from the thing based on the basis of ID, get things from a database, and finally do what? Append these details in the request object. Now, did you see the benefit of this? हमने admin भी करके डाल दिया है. You could have added only roles, but for use case, for better used by controllers are simply the request dot is, मैंने is admin करके भी property डाल दिया. I've also added a property named as is admin. Does this make sense, everyone? बोलो. Does this make sense, everyone? बोलो. ठीक है. Now, what is the benefit? All the requests going through via this middleware, सारी की सारी request कैसे आ रही हैं देखो. Coming via router, router से it is going to middleware, from middleware it is going to controllers or other next middleware or to controller. By the end of it is going to controller, right? So all the requests going via verified token middleware will have this request wali information embedded. Now, did you see any controller who wants to know about the user information that is already there in the request object? Clear, everyone, this use case? Did you see the benefit here? Did you see the benefit here? Any user, any controller in the entire code base who wants to know the user information, he will get it via request object. Clear, everyone? Is everyone clear on this? Bolo. Is everyone clear on this? Bolo. Okay. Now see. Now let us go back to again category routes. देखा तो category में I have used two middlewares. Last three line please explain. Which explain? Okay. So you are saying this last three lines. These last three lines. देखो ना what we have done. This is the request object that is passed to middlewares. देखो this request object is passed to middlewares as well as to controllers, right? So before the request goes to the controllers, it goes to a middleware. So in the middleware, I am adding the request request.user in the request object. I am adding a key called user, which will have all the user details. In the request object, I'm adding a key called roles, which will have all the user roles. In the request, I'm adding a new property called as isAdmin, which will have true or false depending whether that user is admin user or not. So basically what I have done, I have added the user information in the request object. Why? Because this is the middleware. This is a common place. Now all controllers, card controller, category controller, product controller, all these things are controllers. So all these requests will go via the middleware. Correct? So all of them now, since the request is going via middleware, all these controllers will already have access to the user information. अगर किसी को यूजर के बारे में कुछ भी पता करना है, if anyone wants to know anything about the user, they will simply check in request.user, all these things. Okay. Now let me show you a use case now. Let us say category controller. Correct. Now let us say create. This is to create a new category. Should creating a new category be allowed to all the users? Okay. Getting all the sorry. Getting all the categories. Do I need any kind of admin support for this? Do I need any kind of check for this? Getting all the categories? Do I need any kind of check for this? No, right? Anyone can get all the it's a get request. So am I doing nothing right here? Correct? दिख रहा है नहीं बस यहाँ पे category table से I'm getting all the categories. Correct? But let us say the call is to create a new category. The call is to create a new category. In this case, did you see? मुझे पहले क्या check करना है? Whether the user is authorized to perform that task or not. What is the task? Whether the user is authorized to create a new category or not. That is what I have to check over here. Correct? Does this make sense? Does this make sense? That is what I have to check, right? Whether the user is authorized to create a new category or not. That is what I have to check, right? Bolo. Correct? Right? So now this information is already available to this particular controller. How? In request.isAdmin. Do you know right how it's coming? You know this right how it's coming? Where it was appended? Where was it appended? Where was it appended? Bolo. In the middleware. Now we are checking it in the controller कि जो admin है या नहीं. So this is what? This is what? Authorization. Correct? Now authorization will be done by every controller itself. है ना? Her controller will do the authorization depending upon how it wants to do it. But yeah, the information required to do that, the user information will be appended by the middleware. Clear everyone? Did you get this point? A very important point. Bolo, did you get this point? Clear everyone? So are you clear that what is authentication, what is authorization, validations, how do you do it? It's a very beautifully designed, right? Creating a new post, new category. First, validate the category request via middleware, then pass it to a OJWT. Verify token क्या करेगा? It will first verify the token. Also, it will append the user information in the request object. After both these middlewares are run, then this category controllers.create will run. What it will do? It will check whether you requested admin or not, and then it will simply create a category. If you see, this actual controllers only have what? These actual controllers only have what? The controllers में क्या है हमारे पास बस? The actual business logic. सारा का सारा role for authentication, authorization, validation, right? क्योंकि before the call actual reaches the actual controller that is to create, इससे पहले सारी चीजें हो चुकी होंगी, right? That is validation will be done, authentication will be done, authorization will be done here. But okay, clear everyone? So any doubts over here? I will wait for a minute. If you have any doubts, go ahead and ask. Did you understand the complete idea behind authentication, authorization, validation, and the best practices to do that? These are the best practices I've shown you, right? Routers make, if you see how beautifully I've added this, right? Let us say this is to create a new product where product routes. Okay, this is to create a new product. If you see, right, देखो इसमें भी जैसे I am passing what? Validate product request, then verify token, and finally create a new product. Can you see? Well, clear everyone? Any doubts over here? Do you guys have? Any doubts over here? Do you guys have? Bolo. If you have any doubts, go ahead and ask. Bolo. Any doubts? Bolo. Any doubts you guys have? Or it's clear? Okay. So yeah, that is what you have to do when it comes to. Okay. Now let us go back to our application. I will show you just. Okay. Let us go. I hope this concept is clear. Okay. So देखो, all these things you have to. It should be there in every middleware. Okay. This should be there in every middleware you create. Okay. Every middleware you create, it should be there. Okay. Okay. It should be there in every middleware. Okay. So now let me quickly go back to our application we discussed. Okay. I will show you how you should create that. Okay. I showed you one of the best practices for authentication authorization. Okay. That is the agenda of these classes. Okay. Let me go to desktop, employee hiring, open it, save all. Okay. Okay. So this is for app hiring, right? I'm showing you. देखो, इसमें what will we do? सबसे पहले as we discuss, we'll create models. We'll create models for jobs. ठीक है? Jobs, company. देखो, I'm going you how will you create? First of all, you will go to model. How will you start with this? You will go to admins. Admin has first name, last name, email, password, all these things. ठीक है? Admin, you can also create a user as discussed already. ठीक है? Then we have a what? Company. Company में we have what? Company name, all these things we have, right? Then we have a student. Student has first name, last name, phone name, all these things. And finally, we have a job. As discussed, अभी हमने क्या किया था? Job should have a company ID. It should have a title of a job, description of a job, applicants of the job, created at, and these things. ठीक है? Your first step should be to create all the models. Is everyone clear with these? मतलब any doubts here? I'm not coding it right away. I will code along with you in movie booking. But yeah, are you guys clear? I will stop for a minute. If you have any doubts, कुछ है तो पूछ लो. ठीक है? That should be your first steps, right? To create all the 4 models. For admin model, depending upon your you thinking how you are making it, but yeah, first step is to do this. ठीक है? Then you will create basic routes. ठीक है? सबसे पहले you know CRUD operations, right? तो अगर हमने admin company बनाई है, you will write CRUD operations to add a new company, delete a new company, edit a new company, right? Similarly, create a new student, delete a new student, create a new admin, delete a new admin or a new user, create a new job, update a job, delete a job, add an applicant to a job. Correct? So ये सारी APIs you have to create. Correct? If I go back to my APIs, ठीक है? If I go back to my APIs, you will have all these things, right? For example, सबसे पहले go to auth.js. We already discussed these things, but इसमें in this they have not created controllers. That is why you can see it's looking very very bad. ठीक है, but yeah, we can anyways discuss the business logic. So this is first to route to. Let me show you quickly a route. This is the route to what? In this we don't have controllers. That is fine. They have added the business logic over here only. ठीक है, but yeah, you guys have to add controllers. Okay. So first is to sign up on the basis of roles, right? So first, this is the params. If you see, we are getting a role on the basis of params, and then first name, last name, email, and password. We are getting it via request.body. ये हमारा request.body में से आ रहा है, ठीक है? Then the first step is to validate sign up, ठीक है? That whether you will do a validate a sign up request. Okay. So where it is, how will you validate? How will you validate? How will you validate? You will write a function over. You will write a function in validation. So you can also do it like this. You can do it middleware. Also, I think middleware is a better choice. What I showed you, this is not a very good choice, but you saw this, right? You have to write this in middleware. Okay. This is a logic to validate the sign up request. Okay. A validate to middleware is better. That is correct. I already showed you best way. This is just an example of what this particular thing, this particular a problem statement what is discussed. Okay, they've added a validate sign up. In this they are validating what first name should be, last name, email, password, and basically they have used Joy to do this. Okay. So now that is how they have done. Okay. So now this is a kind of validator. Okay. They have created a validator for sign up. I will go back to this. Okay. The first step is to validator. If error is there, return 400. 400 is for client side error, so you will return 400. Now again, remember हमने भी यही किया था. Check if what email exists in company. I will check in all the places if email exists. Line number 20, 21, 22 will check whether that email exists in admin, companies or students. Although you have to check in all the three kind of tables. We have three tables, right? Admin table, company table, student tables, right? I will check in all possible tables whether that. Please repeat Joy part. Let me show you what it does. Okay. Joy. Okay. So Joy npm. Okay. So basically what it does, basically the most powerful schema, description language, and data validator. Basically it is a data validator for JavaScript. It helps you to validate what data. Okay. It helps you to validate data. That is Joy. Okay. So what it does, I will explain you. If you go back over here, we have to write just validators. So you have written a function, एक function लिखा है बस, that takes some object, a data object, and then what do? You simply say, you simply write some schema, and then you validate the data with that schema. देखो पहले क्या करते हैं, we create some schema using Joy. We create a schema using this library. We have created a schema. Joy को एक object बना रहे हैं. इसके अंदर एक email होना चाहिए, एक password होना चाहिए. Email should be required, password should be required. Email should be minimum domain segment 2, and pattern should be this of password, and it should be required. So this is how we have created a schema using Joy. It is like a regex. It is like a regular expression. Then we are validating the data object. जो हमने हमारा data है, that is coming from a user, right? And with this schema. Got it? Are you clear now? Are you clear? Did you get this now? We are creating a schema using Joy library. Then we are validating that. Okay. So we can use this for validations. It's a kind of data validator. So we have used it where? Go to auth.js. So हमने सबसे पहले we have done a data validation here. ठीक है? If the data is valid, not valid, return 400. Then check if all the email exists. If any of the email exists, return what? I think Aradhe it's some library. I'm not sure what it is. Okay. How it's pronounced, but yeah, it's a library for data validation. Okay. I've already pasted it. Okay. I don't know how to pronounce it. What is the full form of it? Okay. Okay. You can check their documentation. You will get it. Okay. I'm not sure what it is. Okay. It lets you describe all these things. Okay. Okay. I'm not sure about the definition of the full form and all. Okay. Then basically this is your sign up. Okay. Sign up. What will you do next? You will create a password. Correct. Bcrypt dot that. Okay. You will create a password. Right now, this is important. Now, whatever role you have, or I will create an object of that type. If role is company, I will get a new company using the company model. Okay. If role is student, I will create a new student object. Did you see? I have to create either it can be a company or it can be a student. Correct? है ना? there can be only two type of users, right? A company or a student. So if the role is company, I'm creating a new company object. If a role is student, I'm creating a new student object. This point is clear, everyone? If a role is company, I'm creating a new company object. First name, last name, email, password. All the four things are common. First name, last name, email, password. I've pasted all the four things are common. Okay. Then we are creating a new token. We are creating a new token using secret key. इसमें we are passing company ID. इसमें we are passing student ID in the payload. This part is the payload. Payload में we are passing ID and role. You can store role also. That is completely fine. ठीक है मतलब you always store the information, very basic information about a user in a payload. इसमें ID और role pass किया है. We have stored an object. इसमें ID और एक role है. We have stored role and an ID. Okay. So this is company ID role. This is student ID and role. ठीक है. So we have created token and finally we are inserting company.save. Yes, we are doing student.save. So that is the logic for entire sign-up. पहले validation करा, then simply create the payload. Then if the role is company, create a new company object, and finally create a token and store the company in the company table. Else, if the student, simply create a token and store in the student table. So any doubts here? You can go through it. Any doubts you have, go ahead and ask. Any doubts you have, go ahead and ask. Bolo. Clear everyone on this? Any doubts here? Bolo. Any doubts anyone has here, or it's clear? Is the logic for sign up clear? Should we move to? Okay. So I hope this is clear, right? That how you are using a single role to sign up a company or a student. Finally, let us move to login. For login, our route is to route. How does the route looks like? Our login, right? Route dot. This is our login. Okay. So login mein what will we do? Where is our login? Okay, this is login. Login mein we already discussed. We'll get the role first. Request dot body. Similarly, validate login. Okay. So अगर admin है तो do what? Get the admin object. Check the username. Check the password. Create JWT and finally send the JWT. Similarly, if the role is company, get the company name. Check the password. Create the JWT and finally return the response dot send. Clear everyone? ये हमने अभी देखा था, right? All these things are helper function. That is fine. But yeah, we already saw this, right? Abhi, bolo. You already saw this. This is clear, right? So login register again clear in these scenarios also. Okay, this is clear, right? Now what are the other APIs? Companies की क्या APIs होंगी? Right? To find a company. ठीक है? Find a company, get a company by ID, delete a company by ID. देख लो एक बार. Go through this. I will wait for 5 minutes. Not wait. Basically, getting a company means okay. Did you see? Authorization, we are doing it where? In a middleware. Go to middleware, authorization. In this, what are we doing? Checking. ये हमने पहले भी किया था, right? Checking the token if token exists, right? If it exists, simply jw.verify and simply attach it to the verified you. You are attaching a user details to a request object. They are doing the same thing we discussed. Our approach was better, but this is also a similar thing, right? So we are using a authorization middleware in everything. For here, let us say companies may to get all the details of a company, you need to be authorized. So authorization we are adding. So request.user.role ये कैसे आ रहा है? How it's coming? Middleware is adding. Are you clear now? The pattern, the same pattern is followed here. Did you see? Only company is allowed to do this. Did you see? Only company role is allowed to do this. How this role came? Middleware added this role in the request object. Bolo. Clear everyone this point? Is this point clear? This is authorization. I already showed you, right? Okay. Then only if it is authorized, company.find, you will find a company, all the companies, and you will return it. So this logic should be very clear, right? This is a route to get all the companies. This is to get a company by company ID. Again, I will check the role first. If it is not a valid company role, access denied. Else, get a company by company ID. Get a company by company ID. Finally, delete a company by company ID. Delete a company by company ID. Okay. So if it is not admin, access denied and company.delete one. So clear everyone, this page is clear. Any doubt here? It should be very straightforward, right? right? We are first authentication तो वहीं से हो रहा है, then we are authorizing it over here with the help of company role, and finally we are making a Mongoose API call. Mongoose API call. Company.find by ID, delete one. Clear everyone? Company APIs are clear. Company APIs are clear. Parag authorization.js हमने अभी देखी थी, it is exactly same. In this also we are doing the same. First check if the token is present. If it is present, do jw.verify. If the verify will return you the kind of details of the user, the payload. It will return you a payload. ठीक है, it will return you a payload. So payload you have stored in request.user. इसमें क्या होगा? User ID and role. Remember, when we were creating this, we stored what? ID and the role. Okay, that is what we did, right? So I hope it is clear, right? So now companies.js is also clear. Similarly, you will have student.js. Same thing, same, exactly same. Student, maybe we are doing what? Only student get student details, only student role is allowed. Can you see? Student.find, then get student by ID, only student role is allowed. Then get a student, delete a student by ID. Clear everyone? The same thing. So company and student are exactly same, only the role has changed. Only the role has changed. Everywhere it is. Okay. If you see, delete only admin is allowed. Because there are three roles: company role, admin role, and a student role. Deleting a getting details and all the student are allowed. Deleting only admin is allowed. Right? where Ankit, where are you talking about? Try and catch. Okay. So I hope companies and students are clear. Okay, companies APIs are clear, student APIs are clear. Okay. Then comes the profile APIs. Okay. What it does basically, if you see what it does, basically let us say I want to get simply a get call, a get a profile. Okay. What it will do, agar role admin hai, so it will get all the data by admin. Dekho, now what it is doing, profile is to get the profile. Okay, let us say to get a profile, I will check the role and the ID I have in the payload. I have it in the payload, right? Ye payload se aayi, right? Request me already have by middleware has added this. Now if it is admin, I will find from the admin table and return it. If it is company, I will find user details from company table and return it. If it is student, I will get details from student table and return it. This is also clear. एक बार पढ़ लो. This is also clear, everyone. This is also clear, everyone. ठीक है, कुछ भी नहीं कर रहे हैं. Depending upon the role, checking the mongoose thing, delete and finally returning it. ठीक है. Finally, then it is to get by a particular ID. Again the same thing कर रहे हैं. Okay, so it is same. ठीक है, तो profile is also very simple. Now coming to the main part, that is jobs. ठीक है, now we have APIs to get a job. Basically this is to, I think, get all the jobs. No, this is to, I think, to get a job. Then this is to post a new job. Then this is to get a job by a particular ID. This is to update the job. This is to delete a job by a particular ID. Okay, we'll go through each one of them. Okay, we'll go through each one of them. Okay, so this is what first is to get. Okay, we are getting role is equals to company. अगर company role है तो job.find. This will give me what? All the jobs for this particular company. Does this make sense? अगर role company है, it will find me all the jobs for this particular company. Else, it will simply give me all the jobs. अगर नहीं role company नहीं है, in all the other scenario, it will give me all. There is no condition. If you see, there is no condition. इसमें company ID is company ID. So this is return statement here. So this will only run अगर वो ऊपर वाला नहीं चला. Clear, everyone? If the role is company, will return all the job for that particular company. Correct? So one company should only see job for that particular company, right? Else, student है या फिर admin है, कोई भी है, we should see all the jobs. That is why I'm not having any condition. I'm only having condition on the company. Clear, everyone? This logic? This logic is also clear, everyone? Clear, right? Makes sense, right? This logic. Only for company we are done. Now let us say I want to create a new job. To create a new job, right? Who can create it? Only company can create it. So you see, if the role is not equal to company, access denied. Make sense? Only company should be able to. Only company should be able to. What? Do what? Only company should be able to do what? They should be able to do this. Okay. Then you have the title of the job and the description of job in the request.body. Create a new job via company ID, title, description. Company ID you are getting from this, title, description you are getting from request.body. Okay. Now job.save, save the job, and finally go ahead. It's very simple. Did you see how easy it is to create a new job? ID ले लो, request.user से, that is company ID, and title, description you are getting it. Finally, create a new job model and save it. Clear everyone this point? Clear everyone this point? ठीक है. 26. 26 मतलब if role is not equal to company, what does it mean? Who can create a job? Only company should be able to, company role should be able to, right? Should a student be allowed to create a job? Should admin be allowed to create a job? No. Only company should be able to. If the role is not equal to company, access denied. That you cannot create a new job. Clear now? Okay. So now this is a logic to create a new job. Finally, this is the logic to get a job by ID, right? If role is company, right, you will find, now this is to get a what? Agar company ne kiya hai, okay, now this is to get by ID, right? Now if the company has added by ID, you will do what? You will do what? ID should be this, company ID should be this. You will do what? Bolo. Find a job by a particular ID for this company ID. This is what? Find a job with this job ID having this company ID. Got it? Make sense everyone? If role is company, क्योंकि एक company को should only see the job of that company. He should not be allowed to see the job of any other company. Okay. Now else, if company nahi hai, तो you have to return that particular job. Simply find the job by ID. The same logic we did at the time of get. है ना? One company should see only the jobs of that company. That is why we are doing this, right? So अगर company है, तो I have to show that job ID along with that company ID. If the company ID doesn't match it, he should not be able to see that. But if it is admin or student, he should be able to check the job simply by job ID. Clear everyone this point? So clear everyone, get is also clear. Okay, then update, patch, right? Update. Let us say who should be able to update? Only admin or company should be able to update. Correct? So अगर student है, तो can student update? No. So if the role is not equal to student, wait. This is okay. Sorry. This is to apply for a job. Who can apply for a job? Only student can apply for a job. So if role is not equal to student, access denied. First, it makes sense. This is to apply for a job. If the role is not equal to student, access denied. Does that make sense? This is to apply for a new job, right? So a person wants to apply for a new job, right? He will pass the ID in the /job ID /apply. Did you understood this? Let us say I want to apply. I will say /job ID /apply. I will check first role. If the role is not equal to student, reject it, because only student should be allowed to apply. Now I will find a job by job ID. ये कैसे आएगी? Job request.parent.id. That is what? Job ID. This ID. First get a job by this ID. Okay. Then what to do? Get a job के सारे applicants. Simply applicants.push the ID of the user. ये ID हमारे पे already है यहाँ पे. Simply push the ID of the user. And finally update the database with the new applicants. It's very simple. यही तो करते हैं देखो. Very very simple. मतलब देख लो एक बार. Apply. How do you apply for a job? Get a job ID. Get all the applicants of the job. Push the current user into that applicants. Finally update the job details with the updated applicants. And finally return this. बोलो clear everyone है patch वाला logic? मतलब ये clear है? Are you clear with the logic for applying for a job? How do you apply for a job? This logic is clear. This logic is to apply for a job. Okay. Now finally, I think now it should be very easy. Delete a job by a job ID. How do you delete a job by job ID? क्या करना है? कुछ भी नहीं asked. Who can delete? Can student delete? No. अगर role is student, access denied. Can a company delete? Company can delete a job by job ID only if the company ID matches. Got it? The same logic. If the role is company, this ID we can delete only if the company ID is the ID of the company. Okay. Then admin can delete anyone. So admin तो कोई भी delete कर सकता. That is why this is for student. This is for company and this is for admin. Admin can directly delete by a job ID. Role company can only delete by a only if job ID is there and only if the company ID matches to the company ID of that job matches to the ID of the company. तभी वो delete कर सकता है. Student cannot delete it. So did you see the logic for delete? Is it clear? Is it clear? बोलो. ठीक है. So now I think that's it. इतना ही था. बस हमने कर लिया. I think that is how the complete. But did you see? It looks very difficult. I'm showing you that how complex applications are made. This looks complex, but if you go step by step, this is not difficult, right? Created only 4 kind of authentications. Company API is thodi si. Then student API, few profile API, and job was very easy, right? Create a new job. Job is the most important. Create a new job, delete a new job, apply for a job, add a new. Well, यही सब है, right? You are using the promise. Yeah, we are obviously use promises, right? That's fine. Well, I didn't get the point. Okay, so well, did you get some benefit that how you build applications? Then simply you import routes here, right? इसमें हमने सारे middlewares यहाँ पे use कर रखे हैं. They are custom middlewares and these are ये सारे हैं inbuilt middlewares. ये सारे अपने आप middlewares हैं. Whereas what we have created are the custom middlewares we made for authorization and all. ठीक है, these are the how we are importing the routes in the we import routes in the what in the app.js. Auth routes, companies route, student route, job route, profile route. Clear everyone? Now if you want, you can even run it. I will give you the link. You can clone and run it by yourself. Okay, I think you should be able to run it. Not a big thing. It's very simple, right? Should be able to run it in your local only. Okay, given you have what MongoDB, you can simply in the process dot you can have a .env file in your local. You won't get the env file here, right? So what you have to do to run this? Create a .env file, right? Process.env.mongodb URI. You have to create a new file in. Course is just Radhya. Course is just basically whenever you have to. How to explain? Let us say basically it is cross origin resource sharing. Okay, so let us say we have a front end for Amazon and a front end for backend and a backend for Amazon. Both have the domain names as Amazon.com, right? By default, basically browsers doesn't allow you to make a request on any other origin. That's the point. So Course is an extension or it's a kind of middleware that allows you to configure that who all can make. Let us say this is my server. This is my backend application, right? Now I have to configure, right? Who all should be allowed to hit to my application. I will say allow star.amazon.com. So any front-end client who has a domain name as star.amazon.com should be allowed to hit my server. Okay. So Course allows you to configure or to whitelist. Like I can say allow star. Star means any client should be allowed to make a hit to my API. Okay, so basically Course is a kind of middleware in which you define what key who all should be allowed to hit my application. By default, इसमें हमने सारे allow कर दिए ऐसे करके, I think Course करके. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Okay, right. So that is how we do it. These are the simple we have imported the routes. Okay. So I hope now you are able to understand that how do you create big application, right? So मतलब ठीक है. Helmet you can see how what it does. Helmet I can show you. ठीक है. तो helmet npm ठीक है. So you can see it here basically for security. It's mostly for security. Helmet helps you to secure or express app by setting various HTTP. Basically, it has something to do with security. Okay, it automatically sets quite a few headers in your request. ये सारी headers by default Helmet set ये सारे headers. ठीक है, content security policy. These are the various headers that are required for security. Okay, so Helmet automatically, if you use Helmet in your application, app.use Helmet, it will automatically do what? Add these headers in all your API calls. Okay, clear everyone? Okay, it has to do with security. Okay, I have given you a high level idea. It has to do with security. Okay, so it's again you can add this in your boilerplate code. Okay, so yeah, I hope you were able to it makes sense to you. Okay, so that is how we create defined data models, then we create basic authentication APIs, then we created a company APIs. Okay, then we created job APIs, and finally we created profile APIs. Okay, then students के लिए to how do you apply for a job and all, that is how we created. So yeah, I hope I know I didn't code it. I just told you the idea is to just to show you how do you cover big systems, right? In the upcoming classes, I will. Well, this is next couple of. Well, the idea is to make you aware of all these things. Going ahead, obviously, I will take one big system that is movie booking and I will code it in front of you as well. Okay, but yeah, I hope you were able to make something out of this class and you are better than before after this class. Okay. दैट इज करेक्ट पराग दैट इज वाट नेम हेलमेट वो हेलमेट इसलिए रखा हुआ है राइट मतलब टू हैव सिक्योरिटी प्रोटेक्शन वो नाम ही इसलिए रखा हुआ है राइट दैट मेक्स सेंस राइट बाय डिफॉल्ट या क्लियर एवरीवन आर यू क्लियर सो मतलब डिड यू गेट समथिंग फ्रॉम दिस क्लास मतलब डिड यू गेट समथिंग फ्रॉम दिस क्लास बोलो Morgan is for logging. Okay, Morgan is for logging. मतलब whenever you have to do logs and have to add logs, right? कुछ मुझे logs add करने हैं. I think Morgan इसलिए होता है time stamps के लिए, right? I think time stamp and so interface function formats tiny accepts uh, request log. I told you it's a request logger. तो any request देखो what it will do, right? मतलब it will automatically Morgan add किया है तो automatically it will in the print the logs matlab let us say any request that comes to your server it will print some logs in your console ki this request came at this particular timestamp. Okay, that is what Morgan will do. It will it will automatically, so I can show you some example here. It will print some kind of logs matlab ki a request came at in the console it will put something in the console it will add a new kind of few metadata. Okay, something like कि a request came at this particular timestamp. Okay, so basically it is just like you are adding console.log in every router. Let us say you add router में जाके every router you are adding what console.log, right? कि what API was called, what timestamp was there. So Morgan does this for you. It's a request logger middleware. Okay. Okay, it is for knowledge for server. Correct. मतलब basically it is to debug कि server पे I have to be in the console कि what all APIs were there, all these things. ठीक है, क्या API call हुई थी, at what timestamp it was called, all these things. Okay. ठीक है. So yeah, I am done from my side. If you have any questions now, go ahead and ask. You feel free to go ahead and ask any questions. But yeah, I will share this with code with you. Slide number 30. 30. This is fine. This is for basically for encoding a URL, right? Basically, that is fine. You can search it. That is fine. These are URL encoded. मतलब they say I'm not very sure. मतलब I'm not. You can search it on Google, right? Extended false. मतलब I don't remember why did we use it. ठीक है, you can search it. ठीक है, but yeah, I hope from high level you are able to get an idea of how things work. Okay, you were able to get an idea of how things work. ठीक है कि how do you define big create मतलब these are small, it's a very good problem for to create in 2 to 3 hours, right? It's a good problem. So only if you have very good practice you can do this, correct? Only if you have very good practice you can do this, right? Quickly, right? So yeah, I hope you were able to make some sense out of it. Okay, I will share the link with you. But yeah, this is how you can use good coding practices. You can go through this offline. खुद paper पढ़ो इसे. Good. Every class will discuss a system just like we discussed the system today. Okay. Then after a few classes you will have the patterns, that what all different patterns are possible, right? Then when we define the upcoming systems, you will have strike in mind. Okay, this particular pattern I used at that particular position. I think we can reuse something similar over here. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I hope you were able to. I think it made sense to you. Okay. So let me quickly share the GitHub with you, the solution GitHub with you. Okay. I think it will help you to going ahead. It is over here. Okay, I've shared in the chat box. Okay, you can save it with you guys. Okay, I think it will help you to going forward. Okay. Okay. we'll see, Parag. We'll move to some other system. We'll see. Okay, we'll move to some other system. Okay, okay. So yeah, was the class helpful? Did you get to learn something in today's class? Bolo, was the class helpful? Did you guys get to learn something in today's class? Bolo. ठीक है. I hope you were able to learn something. ठीक है. So yeah, or rather it was meant to be fast. मतलब that was kind of fast track thing. ठीक है. In movie booking application, once you go to movie booking application, movie booking में will go step by step. We'll do every step thing slowly. ठीक है. But yeah, these are kind of just to give you a overview of how things are done. Okay. Okay. This is not to build applications by scratch. ठीक है. So yeah, we'll come to that point also. ठीक है. So yeah, are we good to go for today? बोलो. Are we good to go? ठीक है then. Thank you so much. ठीक है. We'll meet in the next class. ठीक है. Bye bye. Good night.